You're using comments from extremists that are trying to get in and use the weight of our movement to support their own cause. You're using comments from them to drive your own narrative to incite fear. You're pathetic, and you are weak. You will always be weak, and we will always be strong. Doesn't matter what you try and do, we will always outdo you. We have a convoy, literally of thousands of semis, heading to Parliament right now.
Be a good one. Excellent. What's up, everybody? How are we doing today? Welcome back. Happy Friday. Good to see you guys. Let me go ahead and just get this all situated and ready to go. All right, boom. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Great to be with you guys. Can I get a 5x5 out there? Let me know you all can hear me all right. Although I think we're all set up properly. Good to go. But welcome, everybody. It is Friday, February 11th. It is the pre-show leading up to the 4:00 broadcast, Deplorable Discussions. It is great to be with you guys. I see all the different chat rooms filling up, getting ready to wrap up the week with me here today. Very excited about that. I see you guys over in the mosh pit on D-Live, getting nice and cozy. Behave yourselves over there. Don't get too rowdy. But please, share the link. Help us out over on D-Live. We are on rumbling away. Good to see all of our friends over on Rumble. We got a handful of you guys checking in over there. YouTube. Oh, YouTube, our long lost friend, now frenemy. You guys over there on YouTube, please get familiar with some of the links below. The Foxhole is my favorite, but D-Live, Rumble, Cloud Hub, all fine places to catch the live show or the replay as well. We're going to do a little bit of the show today on YouTube, but ultimately we will shut that shit down before it gets too heavy for Susan's ears. So please, again, find those links below and get comfortable over there. Cloud Hub and Twitch, you guys are always out there, steady as can be. Although we don't interact with you guys all that often, we do appreciate all of you tuning in, whether it be live or on replay on Cloud Hub, Twitch. We see the viewership grow very slowly, but surely over there on those platforms. But thank you guys again for being here. Let's do our normal roll call. Say hello to our friends in the comfy bunker, the Foxhole. Thank you guys for hanging out in there today. Like I said, that is our preferred spot to take in a show is the Foxhole, and the Foxhole and pilled.net, powered by pilled.net. Let's go over there and say hello. If you're in there, please pop your head in so I can see you and acknowledge you. And then we're gonna kick off the show here in just a couple of minutes. Starting with Floyd. Good to see you, buddy. Due Diligence was first in there. Pretty usual occurrence to have Floyd checking in first. Tom Ford coming in from Commie, New Jersey, says check DMs for election integrity stuff. I know I got to catch up on my pilled DMs, so bear with me, guys, over there. Deckard B says it's Friday. Yes, it is, and hooked us up with a can. Great to see you, Deckard. Mary One, Rosary Mom, and Frodo Baggins out there as well. Great to see all of you guys. Space Cookie, Timar, and to a Freedom Rider. What's up, dude? Hope you're staying warm here in Pittsburgh. We got, let's see, Laura Y, another Pittsburgh friend. What's up, Laura? How are you? We've got, man, lots of the same people hanging out here early. Got to scroll. All right, Secrets, Brian. What's up? Fazic in the house. Seabass, always great to see. Seabass, how are you? Black Yoda, Steven, thank you for the cookie. Great to see you. Rage CG, Oilman 94. What's up, Oilman? Anaconda in Arizona, Misfit, so fucking awesome. And Barb Robbins, good to see all of you guys. We got Fly Me, Seabass, hooking us up with some shades early on. Says, hey, Adel Pinata in Tennessee. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Laura QAnon, great to see you. Cap1Q, Carrie Lake, Renee 0304, Black Yoda with the cookie, some hundreds, some middle finger going there. Honk, honk. I love it. Navy Vet in the house. What's up, Navy Vet? Always in Texas. Fact Finder. Laura QAnon hooking us up with some shades too, saying happy Friday. I can't mod because stupid work today. Sorry. Much love working. That's quite all right. Appreciate you being out there lurking, Laura, and thank you for the shades. Navy Vet says Friday, fellas. Thank you for the cookie, buddy. Let's see, Tweety 52 in the house. Go Dog Go, USA, Landshark, Corey Chemo, Kim Iowa, always bringing the heat. Dave MC and Philly 369 Garden Ghost Pepper. Good to see a Patriot Drummer. United We Stand, Born Deplorable, and the Big Mamoo. Grandma Sweetie. Dale Bercier checking in from North Dakota. Delia checking in from Ground Zero there in Arizona. Let's decertify. Darth Q 369 in the house. What's up, Darth Q? We got Redfish. You got Disappointed Mom, another 412 friend. Clover Lily. What's up, Clover Lily? Great to see you out there. D. Richard, Luann V, The Diligent, and Don Richie 17, Maxinon hanging out, representing the Rise Attire Tribe, riseattireusa.com, the best apparel designs going, the most controversial and eye-catching ones, that's for sure. Go check out riseattireusa.com. Patriot Bird in the house. We got Glenna Riggleman, fucking Scottish. We've got Roy Stones and Bones. We've got Wisconsin on, and Sleigh Bells 72. Dave MC, Texas Beauty. Black Yoda with the middle finger for Susan. Thank you for the cookie, Black Yoda. Tesla Dove says, bye, Felicia. I mean, Susan. Yeah, we will be saying goodbye to her in a little while. Thank you for the can, Tesla. The Shit Show, Liberty Bells, Red Ant. Just another Patriot 12. CL Goober in the house. God first, we the people. Fruit Bar, right? Or Fruit Bat, excuse me. 1111. Lord Mad Dog in the house. Diane Brodeen, Kank Chris, Brew 525, USA Fam, Hangover Gang and on. Wow, so many of our regulars out there today. Overwhelming. Thumper Rose, Jay Brewskis in the house. Tammy 22, Jane Jetson, Filter Dog 1, Patriot Rossi 17, Stony Joe, Maga Lobo, and Matrix Codebreaker. We got Cindy Anon hooking us up with a cookie. Great to see you. Sassy Q, Malicious Missy, Mixable, D Patriot 1776. We got Black Dog 77. Fruit Bat, thank you for the cookie. Crazy Eyes, great to see you. Thank you for the cookie as well. Hang 10, Alien Surfer. Oh boy, I think I gotta just get this thing started. Christina Fontana and Rick Roller 1. Belushi in the house with the cookie says, what up on the road with Fontana? Ski trip, enjoy yourselves. Stay safe out there. Bye, Boys Blanc 89. The cookie says, good show today. Drunk Pinata and Hulk. Very cool. Marco Anon, thank you for the cookie. Black Yoda says, with all respect, you Adel, give Floyd at due diligence just one interview. He truly deserves it. We've had Floyd on the show a few times. We've had Floyd on here hanging out on the panel. We'll get him on here again. Marco Anon, I said thank you for that. Parkside Palladium, Mistborn checking in. Good to see you, Mistborn. Sassy Q. Did I miss anyone? I hope not. I'm way over time. I got to get started. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for joining us today. We'll be right back with the show and just the other side.
This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The economy is roaring. The ISIS caliphate is defeated. They tried to divide our country, to poison the national debate, and to tear up the fabric of our great democracy. Our movement took on the political establishment, the corrupt media, and it's never been more corrupt than it is today. They wanted to destroy a movement like our country has never seen before. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation. They're never taking it away from us.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
This is the time we've all been waiting for.
The sense of togetherness and pride and joy.
I said to my boys, we're going to Ottawa, we're going to be with our people, with our Canadians.
It's about every Canadian standing up for their families, for their future.
And we are all together, we are all Canadians, we are all trekkers.
We stand up for our people in Nunavut and all over Canada and the whole entire world and our children.
This is a sound of change.
When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Great to be with you for a Friday installment of Deplorable Discussions. My name is Adel Nero, and with me riding shotgun here for the next couple of hours, wrapping up the week, is Breaking Spectre and Tennessee Homesteader. Great to be with both of you guys today. Breaking Spectre, happy Friday, buddy. Always a pleasure.
What's going on?
Oh, living the dream, man. Wrapping up the week. Looking forward to the weekend. How you doing, man?
Oh, not too bad. Can't complain about the weather. Finally get to see a little snow melt out of here. Try and whittle down some of the piles. And yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Good way to start the weekend.
Absolutely. Well, it's a great way to start the weekend here, having Breaking Spectre aboard the panel. Thanks for being here, man. We're looking forward to getting your take on all this stuff we got going on today. We also got Tennessee Homesteader riding shotgun. Tien, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing okay. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. I got my sweater on. I just got my topsiders on.
Fantastic. How's the basement situation?
that was a little underhanded way of talking about it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. The basement is coming. I got confirmation that my freezers are arriving tomorrow. Yay!
Thank God. You're able to think you'll be able to get through it without too much collateral damage?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So far, so good. I've decided that some of the items I'm going to go ahead and freeze dry it and pulverize and make pemmican. I have some, okay, so people are going to freak out. I have some beef heart and some beef liver that I can now take the opportunity to basically, like I said, freeze dry, then pulverize and use it for the protein in the pemmican.
Very cool. Well,
nothing goes to waste. If I can help it, nothing goes to waste.
He's the whole buffalo. I love it.
The whole buffalo.
Can you imagine Homesteader in a zip-up cardigan doing the old shoe toss, old Fred Rogers style? Somehow I can't picture it.
I would have a hard time with that. I actually, up until the world ended back in 2020, every once in a while, I would have meetings for my day job in the same building that they filmed Mr. Rogers in. The university I work with shares a building with WQED, which Mr. Rogers, for all my 412 friends out there, is filmed here in Pittsburgh. So little tidbit there. Anyway, it's good to be with you guys today. Appreciate
Yada should be here any minute now. He's got something Matrix thing going on in his house, so he probably will join a few.
All right, cool. We'll welcome him right on in. We'll welcome him right on in as soon as he's ready to join, as always. But it's great to be with you guys. Live chat, thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. We're live across all of our different platforms, DLive, Rumble, YouTube, Cloud Hub, Twitch, and of course the Foxhole. Please share the link wherever you're watching. Help us continue to grow across whatever platform you prefer. Of course, on YouTube, if you're watching over there, please find one of these other platforms. We're not going to do the whole show on YouTube. At some point, I will cut it off. Whenever basically the conversation gets to the point where Susan's going to have problems with it, that's when we need to put an end to that. So if you're on YouTube, we got all the links to all the different platforms below. Please find one. Anyway, I see Drunk Pinata joining us here today. Drunk Pinata, how are you, man?
Me, just trying to find the needle in the haystack.
Any luck?
Yeah. You just burn the whole straw pile.
Love it.
I thought you were going to use the bounce technique and see what stuck.
Or maybe a magnet. I don't know. Whatever seems appropriate.
When you hear Pinata yell, ouch! He found it.
That's working smarter, not harder, I guess. Let's go ahead and take care of our sponsors, and then we will we will go from there. Let's start with My Americana Marketplace today. My Americana Marketplace, I love this company, veteran owned and operated. Our great friend Trish is a Navy Intel vet for over 2 decades. She continues to do amazing work with this My Americana Marketplace. It's a great website, offers really cool stuff. Actually, I want to bring this down briefly and hold on. Let me do this so you guys get it in all of its glory. Don't do this that often. We're going full production for Trish's ad today. Full screen. Whoops. That's not what I meant to do. Hold on. Speaker
Down,
view.
Doug.
That's it. There
Down,
we go.
Doug. Down, Doug.
Yeah, full production, and then there I go. Anyway, the most dangerous playing cards. These things are awesome. So there's the backside, totally badass with the American flag and the skull kind of ripping through. Most dangerous Americans. You can see the 2 jokers right here, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Absolutely hilarious, fantastic deck of cards. I love it because not only does it have media, bureaucracy people, but also Rhino Republicans. A great collector's item. This deck, and I believe right now, if you buy 3 of the most dangerous Americans pack, Trish is going to send you a Patriot deck for absolutely no additional charge. So great deal there. So get your most dangerous American playing cards, 3 decks, get a free Patriot deck for free, get the good guys. There's also Spygate playing cards, a bunch of other stuff too, flags, signs, yard decorations, wind spinners, all kind of really cool, American patriotic merchandise to explore over at myamericanamarketplace.com. So go check that out. Promo code WTPI at checkout for 10% off your order. And we really love what Trisha has to offer over there. I'm telling you guys, the playing cards are super, super cool. They make great gifts. They're great red pilling, great collector's items. Get a few of each deck and you'll be happy you did. Also, we've got DiamondSoapCompany.com. DiamondSoapCo.com is another one of these just businesses that scream MAGA, veteran owned and operated, family owned and operated. Harold and Laura are Air Force Intel vets. They've been married for 30 years. They make all of their products with all organic, all natural ingredients, handmade right here in the United States. Fantastic stuff. And I guess there's, I don't know if it's available yet. Oh, it is right there. We the People gift basket. It's Kentucky bourbon gift basket. It looks like Harold just sent me a message about it. Hold on. Literally just sent it. We have a new We the People Insider gift basket for everyone. You can click on it during the ad if you want. Well, don't mind if I do. Let's see what we got going on here. So our We the People gift basket includes 3 bars of soap, a 1 4-ounce tin of body butter, a bamboo soap dish, and a natural fiber soap bag. Each bar of soap is 4 to 5 ounces, and our body butter is 4 ounces. Guys, I'm telling you, the stuff is phenomenal. The stuff is absolutely phenomenal. I love the Kentucky bourbon. I love how they use that for the picture of this. I've used the body butter. I've used the soaps. All of it's top-notch stuff. It smells fantastic. You can get it all at a great deal for 17% off using promo code WTPI17. That's across the entire site, including the gift basket. So go check that out. And then, of course, we have Earth Garden Botanicals, earthgardenbotanicals.com, CBD oil, fire cider, elderberry tonic, insect repellent. Fantastic products over there at earthgardenbotanicals.com. They've been with us for over a year now. And promo code WTPI for 10% off all your wellness products. Say hi to Jolene for us, please. And there you go. That's all of our sponsors. Sorry for the a little bit of a longer intro today, but it's Friday. That's all right. We can take your time. It can be more leisurely than normal. I'm going to clean up a couple of your super chats here, and then we're going to jump right on in to some of the news here today, starting with what we got going on with the updates on the trucker convoy. Let's see. Mark Lenon hooking us up with a cookie. Thank you. Mistborn says happy Friday, 412, and all the Foxhole friends. Mistborn, so good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the support. Black Yoda says, do you DJ much? No, not at all. The Shit Show, thank you for the can. Mistborn, thank you for the can, says honk honk. Our Cloaked Unseen says, can you be set up to screen share in the morning? I don't do screen share with callers. Our Uncloaked Scene, sorry, buddy. Just kind of, it's just voice only. D Patriot says Pittsburgh Foxhole meetup Saturday, 3/12 at 5 p.m. Penn Brewery. DM me if interested in attending. Yes, I will be there. Me and Nature Ninja will be there for the Pittsburgh Foxhole meetup. That's March 12th at 5 p.m. at the Penn Brewery. We'll be talking about that more as the date gets closer. But those of you that might want to be coming in from a little bit further away, there you go. Mistborn with a cannon says, what do Trudeau and a rabbit have in common? They run and hide when they hear a honk. Thank you for that, Mistborn. Lynn RC7, thank you for the shades. And Ryan, our cloaked unseen, says, I may have just found the needle in the haystack, and I'm not joking. New scene by few decode D eliminator. Thank you, Ryan, for the cookie. All right. So with that, let's talk about this whole thing with the truckers. I want to start with this article over at the Gateway Pundit. Says, what changed? Last night, Ontario Premier reportedly said he was going to drop vaccine mandates, but today he declares a state of emergency. So what a difference a day makes. Last night, it looked like Ontario's Premier Doug Ford was going to side with the Freedom Convoy protests on the streets, but this morning he announced that he is going to declare a state of emergency while threatening the protesters. What happened? So it's an interesting change of heart here. You have Justin Trudeau warning freedom truckers from hidden bunker that his crackdown is coming after a late night meeting last night. Here's 2 minutes of what he had to say, and then I want to talk about like where this is all going and what this all means. Take a listen.
I've been very, very clear that using military forces against civilian populations in Canada or in any other democracy is something to avoid having to do at all costs. That's why the solution right now is focused on police forces enforcing the laws that exist, protecting public order in the way that they are trained to do, in a predictable, progressive approach that doesn't skip any steps, that works to conclude this situation peacefully. That's why right now it has become a lot more difficult and a lot more impactful and, quite frankly, expensive for people who are in those protests because they're tired of COVID to continue to be part of these illegal protests. The consequences on their lives for choosing to continue to endanger the lives and livelihoods of other Canadians, to continue to violate our laws, are going to be more and more extensive, and therefore we are very hopeful that people will choose to leave these protests peacefully now that they've been heard. There are further steps for law enforcement to take as that happens or not, but we are a long way from ever having to call in the military, although, of course, we have to be ready for any eventuality, but it is not something we are seriously contemplating at this time.
Prime Minister, I'm wondering.
All right, so
let me translate. We're not going to use the military. We're going to use the paramilitary. And we're basically letting you know that if you don't leave, we're going to kick your ass because we're going to use progressive measures until we get to beat the shit out of you on the street.
This whole thing seems so disjointed and so confused about where they want to go and how they want to handle this. They seem to be flip-flopping back and forth. Go ahead, Spectre.
You had asked what a difference 24 hours makes, right? Well, what was the major inflection point here in the last 24 hours? Well, just look back across these borders to Joe Mayorkas, Department of Homeland Security, and Whitmer.
Support from the U.S.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you got to give your junior leaders, those young leaders from the World Economic Forum, sometimes a little helping hand from good old Uncle Joe.
At least a backstop to it. Yep.
This is brilliant to me because there's such a divide here between this cabal as far as how to handle this. You could see one section of this establishment cabal realizing that there's really no good way to deal with these truckers and that they're going to have to give in eventually. So it's better to make it look like their idea, say the science has changed, and try to make it sound like the truckers had no real play in ending all of this. Then you see the United States, like federal government, the CDC, Fauci, the bureaucracy still desperately clinging to the COVID narrative. And Canada, they don't seem to know which way they want to go with this or how they want to react. Is this as broken as far as the messaging and strategies as we've seen from the left? I don't think I've ever seen them so.
What you're seeing is a pivot. You're seeing a pivot, and you're in the middle of the pivot.
It's not like a full pivot.
Because you're expecting a full blown pivot. It's not. It's spread.
It's disjointed, not even spread, but it seems like they're infighting, I guess would be the best word I could put. Like, it seems like the media in certain states are infighting. You even have the CNN worried, oh my God, you have states lifting their mandates because no one's listening anymore. Shouldn't the CDC pull them too so they don't look toothless? I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but there definitely seems to be a level of infighting from different establishment sources, governments, or figures or whatnot.
It's the way I see it is that some of them got the message to change the narrative and to start moving away from the narrative, and some have not or have yet to get it. So it looks disjointed, it looks spread, and it happens across time. But that's why I was bringing up the other day that look at it, it's happening through the same week, if essentially the same calendar week, not from a calendar point of view, but from the time period perspective within the year. That you had the media doing a somewhat one about, but not across the board. You had the states doing a one about, but not across the board. You even had somebody, the CDC, like Fauci, doing an about face about the pandemic, and we're in the forefront of it. We're a long way away from it, and all of a sudden we're on the backside within a week. So it looks disjointed, and I'm not disputing that. I'm saying that I'm thinking it's a purposeful way to look like it's moving, but you can't realize that it's a pivot.
Oh, what did it be like to be a fly on the wall for those internal poll numbers presented to all the Dems that show them, crashing through the floor?
Well, you just have to look at Biden's popularity.
I don't believe those numbers for a second. Him holding around 40, that's all bunk.
But I don't think, and we're going to talk about polling in a second, but I don't think that, this is people, I've heard other people say this too, and it just doesn't reconcile in my head. They just started doing internal polls on how people, are dealing or perceiving or liking these mandates. They've known for months that this is incredibly unpopular and people are turning against them because of this. This is in my opinion, this is 100% this pivot, or this half-hearted pivot, or this spread out pivot, or this disjointed pivot, whatever it is, to me is being forced by this trucker convoy. I truly believe there's a segment of this cabal that does not want this to happen in America, that's desperate for this not to happen either in certain cities or certain states or whatever. There's some segment that's terrified of this happening and them not having an answer to it. So, and I think they're right. The best way to combat that is to end the mandates or anything that remove any complaints that truckers might have, say it's a change in the science, and try to remove all the power or any perception that they had any leverage over you to begin with. The second those truckers hit the road and shut down a city, now, regardless of whether the science changed or not, you've lost the optics. It's always going to look like you're conceding to the protesters, to the truckers. So this is my thought, is that they're seeing this in Canada and they want to get ahead of it before it happens here and make it sound like it was their idea to allow freedom again. Go ahead, Spectre.
The thing I was going to say is, when is the last time you've ever heard a Democrat either apologize for anything or say, "Hey, we're sorry, we kind of flubbed up here"? Never, right? It's not going to happen. They're full of pride. Pride goes before a fall at the end of the day. And, all these jokers now who have had these mandates and lockdowns and masked up this and everything else, well, they're about to get crow thrown right back in their face come midterms.
Definitely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think the other thing is the beauty of the whole trucker deal is it's leaderless. Now, granted, yeah, you've had some folks try to co-opt it with this business around the GoFundMe and Give, Send, Go flap, but people aren't buying it. People aren't buying it. They're finding out that some of the people who are trying to get after the Give, Send, Go business net are inside operatives and everything else, and these truckers probably don't want any part of it. So leaderless resistance.
Best kind. Good, Homesteader. I know you had some thoughts too, or you had probably something to say in response to what I said. So take a second.
No, as I said the other day, I think the truckers was a catalyst, but I don't think it was the cause. I think the narrative that they've been pushing has been falling down before the truckers. I think that the truckers are the catalyst. Now, where I see the truckers coming into play and being an influencer is on the economic aspect of it. Even last night, as I was flipping through the channels, CBS, the headline, and I don't watch it, but the headline was the impact of the Canada truckers on the U.S. And there was even some clip that I saw of Geraldo Rivera talking about, the typical crap, but the impact that the auto workers cannot get the parts to come from Canada. And it's very interesting that CBS used that exact same line, not in those words, but exact same premise as the impact to the auto workers because of the parts that come from Canada. So on that front, yes, the aspect of the recognition that the truckers look, and as I've said many times before, in this country, as in many other countries, yes, you have shipping, but when it's in land, and particularly large countries like the U.S. and Canada, rail and truck. That's it. That's it.
So it's interesting though, and this is why I'm going to just continue. Kind of, I guess, I don't really think we have that big of a disagreement or really debating anything, but 2 weeks ago, wasn't it just 2 weeks ago, both in Virginia and New York, you had Democrats suing to keep mandates in place, mask mandates in place, and now they're voting and removing.
You had chastising of Youngkin for not wearing a mask during the inauguration.
Right. So this is my point. In just a couple of weeks, what has really been the only major thing to take hold and that could change the talk or the mood on this, and it's the truckers. That's about the exact same length of time.
Inflation and the economy.
You can almost draw when the truckers first started their convoy, you saw the immediate attempt to pivot to Ukraine. You can kind of draw the timing of that up, I think, pretty closely. The whole phone calls with Zelensky, Biden trying to, hype up the idea of an invasion that Zelensky was just not having. It felt like really desperate, for a new distraction. I maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I feel like that the truckers kind of, it was like moving that final chess piece into place to really kind of force the checkmate. I really feel like as far as the COVID narrative goes, it may have already been on its last life support. It may have already been in bad shape, but there wasn't anything forcing the hand of the narrative makers on the other side. There was big shots across the bow. There were, Joe Rogan and Ron Johnson took major swipes out of it. It was definitely hurting. We know Fauci's trust rating was in the low 30s. So we knew the whole thing was, quickly falling apart anyway. But the truckers exposed the lack of teeth to these mandates, I feel like, and really kind of put the resistance or the resistance mindset into people in a way. that is actually just driving fear into the establishment. And I feel like they've been incredibly erratic with their messaging, unsure of themselves with how they present these things, and disjointed ever since. I see a major change in the way they do their business since then.
I think our biggest difference is I think our biggest difference in the interpretation is that cause and effect. If I'm understanding you correct, you see the truckers as the cause, and I see the truckers as a catalyst that gave them the opportunity to do what they were planning to do anyways. And that's which is how do I pivot away from COVID when I've been pushing COVID for the longest time without having some form of avenue to do so. And I think I'm not saying the truckers intentionally do this. I'm saying that that's the avenue that it gave them. Now, I think that's the biggest difference in the way we're reading this, because I'm not discrediting the truckers' impact, but it's the aspect of cause and effect. That's why. That's all.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Good, Spectre.
I was going to say one more point about that, and let's hope this continues, is what we saw play out yesterday, because the left continues to expose their ass. And the reason I say that is that they don't know when to shut their freaking mouths. They really don't. You get some Harvard yip yap up on our ivory tower say, we need to go in there, we need to slash their tires, we need to drain the fuel, we need to haul the trucks off. Now, wait a minute. Where have you seen any overturned cars on fire in Ottawa or Ontario, or buildings net blown out with glass all over, or anything along those lines? So who's the violent ones again? Remind me?
Not just the violence, just the idiocy of it. You're going to slash the tires, then you're going to tow it. Why? Good job, Harvard.
So please do, left. Please open your mouths. Please continue to espouse what you really mean, because all it does is expose you for exactly what you are.
And an international hauler is not exactly, even at a bobtail, is not exactly a little Fiat you can overturn, but it's the stupidity of the militant side exposing themselves, right? Yep.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's going to be interesting, the aspect. Oh, and there was a question, when I said paramilitary, and they said, what is that? Antifa? No, paramilitary, the police. Police, when they're used in an anti-riot form like that, like they're planning to, or at least he's talking about doing, and what we have seen in how they come out dressed, that is a paramilitary force.
Yep.
It's no longer a policing force. It's no longer a law enforcement force. It's a paramilitary force.
Yep. So we've also had this drama with the funding, right? So now Give, Send, Go is being harassed for fundraising on behalf of the truckers. So a court freezes $8 million for Freedom Convoy raised on Give, Send, Go. The government of the province of Ontario in Canada on Thursday successfully sought a court order to freeze over $8 million in funds made to the Freedom Convoy on the Give, Send, Go platform. The Ontario Superior Court of Justice ordered that all donations made through the Freedom Convoy 2022 and Adopt a Trucker campaigns on the Christian fundraising platform be frozen until further notice, according to a statement from Premier Doug Ford's office. The statement said Ontario Attorney General Doug Downey brought the application for the restraint order, in which 490.8 of the criminal code was cited as the grounds to freeze the funds. The section reads, in part, quote, the Attorney General may make an application for a restraint order in respect to any offense-related property. Ivana Yelich, spokesperson for the Premier, and the order, quote, binds any and all parties with possession or control over these donations. In a statement on Twitter, Give, Send, Go wrote in an apparent response to the court order, know this, Canada has absolutely zero jurisdiction over how we manage our funds here at Give, Send, Go. In other words, GFY. John Carpe, president of the legal group Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, which is providing legal help to the Freedom Convoy organizers, told the Epoch Times that their lawyers are looking into the issue. The protest started in January, blah, 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 blah. More than 8 million More than $8 million had been raised through GoFundMe before the platform said on February 4th it would stop payments and forward the money to charities instead, before changing course on February 5th and announcing it would automatically reimburse the funds to donors. So there you go. They're continuing to try to stop the funds from getting to these truckers. I say this is why I support the collapse of all fiat currencies, of all central bank currencies. I am on team crypto at this point, because governments, if you do it the right way, I don't think can really stop you from moving crypto around, especially some of the more privacy oriented coins. I think government and money should just no longer be associated. I don't know. The whole thing seems messed up, that these courts feel like they should be able to get between a fundraiser and the recipient. If I want to donate money to somebody, the government should have no place telling me yes or no what causes I should be allowed to donate to. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Spectre, I know you have some thoughts on this. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, the part that I hate out of all this is that out of the goodness of our hearts, we tend to give to causes or use funds and that are very, very much in the open side for all to see, whether it be Give, Send, Go, whether it be GoFundMe or whatever, and it's there for all to see, right? And so it gets a lot of exposure. But you got to think, we need to start thinking a little bit more tactfully, like the left does. If you want to overthrow a government, you don't just Give, Send, Go it. No. We got to get a little bit smarter, folks. And what you do in order to do that, we got to open up some shell corporations. We got to move some money around that way. We got to get some 501c3s involved, bounce some funds from place to place, make it real difficult to follow, and then you get it to the people that you need. We don't use Give, Send, Go. Come on, haven't we learned anything since the 1940s when the OSS became the CIA and started toppling governments worldwide?
We need a super PAC.
Oh yeah, super PAC. Super PAC.
We need to write a book.
Yeah, write a book. There's another good way to launder a little money.
But one, right? Write a book. Yeah. $4 million worth of pre-sales.
Right. To your point on cryptos, though, I mean, Tallycoin is one that did open up immediately after GoFundMe, and that flapped last weekend. So for those wishing to donate to this fund, there is what is called the Tallycoin, and that on the crypto side. And I think last read I saw here early part of the week, they had like $700,000 raised through that, where I don't follow Tallycoin. So the only thing I can say is that like one Satoshi equals like $1, or 1,000 Satoshis or whatever equals $1 or something. So if you play in that realm, great.
It just changes depending on the price of Bitcoin, but yeah.
Yep.
I'm waiting for the Auri to come back.
Waiting for the what to come back?
The Auri.
The Auri?
Yeah, ARE is the crypto code.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's actually it is a cryptocurrency.
Oh, there's thousands of them. I mean, dear God, every other week they have initial coin offerings for something.
Yeah. You know why it's because that's how much the coin 8 Auris was the value of the gold medallion for Marcus Aurelius. The guy that martyred Valentine, which is coming around next week. The guy that martyred Saint Valentine was Marcus Aurelius, Augustus Claudius, and his coin is 8 Auris.
Learned something today. Tian, you're a wealth of interesting tidbits, my friend. Good stuff. Let's see. I don't know if I have anything else on the trucker convoy necessarily. I think that's pretty much it. Let me say a couple of thank yous here, because I got a really generous donation over on Rumble, and I really appreciate you guys on Rumble who have been supporting through the super chat over there. I didn't even know there was a super chat until more recently. And Beal Things Great. Beal Things Great over there has been really, really generous. And he hooked us up with $100 today. It says, moi. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you, Beal. I really, 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 really appreciate the big donation over there. It means a lot. And thank you for the support over on Rumble. Let me jump over here to the Foxhole too. We have some of you guys you guys over here. Where did I leave off? Luann V, I think. Yeah, Luann V with the cookie says, just rescind the mandate, shake my head. You'd think that would be the easiest way to go, but they can't look weak, right? The second that the establishment comes off and they don't look like they can really rule with that iron fist anymore. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not a good look. Let's see. Our Cloaked Unseen gifted a cookie, says, I get it. So I will have a 3 to 5 minute video to play instead to share and elaborate on tomorrow morning. Let me think about it, dude. Send me a link to the video. DM it to me on Pilled. And let me see what you got. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a decode on a Saturday morning. It's not Saturday morning. It's supposed to be casual, more like just fun conversation. And you get pretty deep into the weeds with your decodes and the stuff that you get into. Not that it's not interesting, but send me what you have, and if I have time to check it out, I'll consider it, buddy. But I got to see what you're looking at. Mistborn, thank you for the can. Says no more suit for Tradi. Thank you, Mistborn. Sergeant Bone says maybe Soros checks are starting to bounce. I doubt that. But thank you, Sergeant Bones. Mistborn says, Daddy, who was it that made people break free from the tyrants? It was the truckers, Pumpkin. I love it. Thank you, Mistborn. And Mistborn again says, give, send, go for the win. Yeah, they seem to not be taking any shit from Canada or anyone else. Much love to give, send, go. And thank you, Mistborn, for all the cans today. Dale Bercier hooking us up with 399 gold pills. Thank you so much, Dale. And thank you to all of you guys out there continuing to support the show. I'll continue checking in with those as we move along here. Going next, let's talk about some of these polling numbers. I have just a couple here. There was another one too that I saw. I can't remember who it was, but CNN did a poll. It says 57% rate Biden's first year a failure. Now remember, correct me if I'm wrong, Pinata, you probably know better than I would because you pay attention to these jokers a lot closer than I do. But didn't CNN, like a few months into the Biden administration, didn't they have like a whole thing about how they were changing the way they did polls to like help Biden's whole situation? Wasn't there a whole thing about how they were changing their polling algorithms or their like the fundamentally the way they conducted polls to kind of, they didn't say it was to help Biden, but it was very obvious that they didn't want to report accurately, or that the old traditional way of polling wasn't going to favor the perception of the Biden administration. Anyway.
Yeah, they did have a short segment about, they didn't elaborate how they were changing it, but that they were going to change the way they conducted polling.
Right. So
obviously it didn't help.
Even with their polling, and we know CNN is going to do everything they can to lick the boots of the Biden admin. Even with that, 57% say the first year is a failure. Now, I would say
go back.
Yeah, failure is utter disaster. What has Biden done that you approve? Look at some of these: economy 15%, coronavirus 6%. Personal traits, 4%, foreign policy, 4%, other issues, 2%. Personal traits, right? The fact that that's even like one of the things is just so ridiculous. Just right. Can you imagine?
Trump is what they mean.
Could you imagine getting on a plane and being like, I have some questions about the pilot, like what's his sense of humor like? Is he a patient person? Is he spiritual?
Does he do mean tweets?
Yeah, I just come on.
Yeah, exactly. Notice that immigration wasn't a question up there.
Oh God, yeah. You can get negative percentage on that. I don't know. I see Cage Farmer out there lurking. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a good Friday.
If you're done with your piece, I have one to share with you. Oh no, you're still going through the article. Go ahead.
Well, I don't really care much about that. There's a video here. Is this long? Let's see.
Let's get to our new CNN poll numbers now, brand new numbers, and you're going to see how inflation and broader doubts about the COVID recovery are dragging down the president's standing. Let's just go first to the threshold number you always focus on in a midterm election year. Do you approve of President Biden's job performance? Well, look at how bad these numbers are for the president. Only 4 in 10 Americans, 41% at the moment, approve of his job performance. Nearly 6 in 10, 58% disapprove. That's a tough number early in a midterm election year for the president of the United States. Now, why is this happening? This is fascinating. We asked people, what has President Biden done for you that you approve of? 56% of Americans, nearly 6 in 10 Americans, that means a decent amount of Democrats said nothing. They disapprove of everything that has happened. Now, yes, the president would say, we passed the rescue plan, we passed the bipartisan infrastructure plan. It is not sinking in out in America. 56% of Americans say nothing.
It's not sinking in. No, it's because it doesn't make a tangible difference in the everyday lives of Americans, you fucking idiot. And this is at the core of everything wrong with these people is it's not that they're doing the wrong thing. It's not that their policies don't work. It's always you, the stupid plebe.
You're not receptive to our actions.
You don't realize how awesome we are for you. You don't realize how great we are for you. You just don't get it, you idiots. We're great. Look up. It's called the American Rescue Plan. It's a bipartisan infrastructure deal. Of course it's great. Listen to how it sounds. You idiots just can't possibly understand why it's good for you. It's just not hitting home. It's just not understanding.
The beatings will continue until never mind. I'm laughing too much.
It's just like unbelievable. They're just so tone deaf and so insulting. I'm going to finish it. This is the first time I'm seeing this. So if I seem a bit animated in my response, it's because it's authentic and I have not watched this yet. I didn't realize there was a video. What, another minute? We could do another minute. We could stomach it.
They disapprove of everything that has happened so far. 15% say the president has helped with the economy. 6% say the coronavirus. You see here personal traits, foreign policy, other issues. But that is a stunning number of the failure to communicate the legitimate successes of the Biden administration. And without a doubt, the COVID pandemic is dragging the president down. His standing on COVID is underwater. Why? Look at this. 75% of Americans say they are burned out. 60% say they are angry. 58% say they are worried. Half, 49% say they're confused. 47% do say they're optimistic. So as the numbers come down, maybe the president can turn this dynamic. But right now, you just have a burned out, angry country. It's hard for the president to break through, even if things are getting better. Add to the inflation and the economy.
Even if things are getting better. Again,
the tone deaf. Yeah.
What? What is getting better? What is getting better? Explain. You can't just say that. Donna Brazil was just on ABC earlier too, like talking about this too. Like, look, we know everything's worse and we're failing, or that he's failing in every direction, and that you can't see it in your bank accounts, your wages, your daily life, or anything else. But trust me, he's a good president doing good things. Like, just trust me when I say it. You're just too stupid to understand. It's just like, no, my dollar's not buying anything. The country's as divided as ever. You haven't done anything to help with COVID, and you're mandating big pharma products that nobody wants to take. It's insane.
Look at the line here. The president's approval rating on the economy was 49% back in March. It is down 12 points to 37%. Disapproval on the economy, 44% in March. 62%. That is the toll of inflation right there. The unemployment rate is down. The president did create a record number of jobs. 62% of Americans disapprove of the president's handling of the economy.
Yeah,
they're just propagandizing this all over the place. He didn't create a single freaking job. Recovering what you lost from the perspective of kicking people out of work isn't creating a job.
I mean, it is, but it's not, right? Like, technically.
No, it's not creating a job.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's not creating a job. But the way that they count jobs created, when you define the stat the way they count it, yes, it is, but it's all misleading and built to be misleading. So it's like lying. It's like lying through the context, not through the actual word, but through the context of what they're trying to say. It's a bold-faced lie.
Yeah.
Do you guys notice that all the graphs that they keep putting out of all these great achievements look a lot like the graphs from election night? Just giant spikes of anomalies.
They do like their dumps in the middle of the night. Spectre, your thoughts?
Yeah, of course I have to chime in a little bit here on the financial side, because obviously we know the numbers are baked, and You know, it was just last week that the jobs report came out, ADP print came out, which is private side look at unemployment and everything else across the board. And of course, then the government comes in on Friday and says, well, here's our numbers, la-di-da. Everybody waits for them. And then they come back and say, well, we got to revise everything. And they made this huge adjustment to everything. Not just like a typical seasonal adjustment like they typically do. No. This stuff went clear back to frickin' 2017. So basically, everything that they ever tell us out of the BLS in the last year plus has been all bunk. So what are we really basing this stuff on? The same is true of CPI print that came out here today. You know, everything's running hot. It's got the Fed spooked and everything else. Oh, we got to see how many rate hikes we're going to get here this year, says Goldman Sachs. Well, who cares? The CPI we measure today versus 40 years ago are starkly different. True CPI today would probably be running north of 10, 15%.
Well,
Why do you think people are pissed off?
When you do not include food and staples and fuel, yeah.
Idiots. Absolute idiots.
So we're going to judge it by the cost of an iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember under 44 when they changed GDP and how all that stuff was measured? You know some of the ridiculous shit they put in underneath that?
Yep.
It was based on iTunes downloads. That's part of GDP now, or at least it was under 44. That's the ridiculousness of it.
That must be TikTok videos now.
Yeah, they still couldn't get up to a reasonable number, even with that. Like it was still what you have to get used to. You got to forget about the days of a 3 whatever GDP. You got to get used to.
Yep.
With the 1-2%.
We'll never see those numbers ever again. You got to get used to it.
Yeah, so I mean it's all horseshit. I got another polling article here. Danger Zone Biden's Real Clear Politics poll average drops below 40% for the first time. So I don't follow the Real Clear Politics polls, but I guess they've had him swirling slightly above 40%. That's dropping below 40. There was another poll I saw. I can't remember what the company was. It was a conservative site. It was the Federalist. It was the Federalist did the poll. I just didn't bring the article into the show stack today, but they did a poll too that had them below 40%. So I mean, it's continuing to implode as we head towards the midterms, and they really don't have. I don't see any reprieve coming, especially if they're gonna play hard ass with the truckers and try to maintain some level of COVID control, if you will. I think it's really going to hurt them further. So, I don't know. Interesting times when it comes to all these approval ratings and whatnot.
Can I share mine for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not. Well, I made it into a meme, but it's from Rasmussen that came out today, right? So here's the daily tracking approval index, and here for today. Right, and the ratio is minus 25 here, but the ratio is affected by Trump's versus Biden's. But look at the close up on Biden's from February. He was the 19, 24, 22, and now back at 21 today. And look at the trends. So I went from the point of start of the chart, the high point, to the high point, the low point to the low point, and there's no changing in the trend. That dude's just going south. That's why I said you just gotta love the trend. Go south, old man. Go south, because that's what it is.
Well, there's no core support for the guy. He's totally LARPed in there. There's no cult like following. There's no core Biden groupies out there. He's on an island, and the only thing holding him even close to above water is the media, and that's losing. That itself is having its own problems and is losing relevancy by the hour. So he's going to head towards, I think, record disastrous numbers. If he remains in office for the entirety of a term here, I just see this getting
worse. Yep,
horribly bad.
And the interesting part is you see the spike right here, and it was played up by Rasmussen as a big change and so forth, and it is a rapid one when you look at from the first to the fourth, which to me lends itself to a. If it was the ratio, is one thing, but since it's this number, it lends itself to the. And you have to go into the deep dive into the crosstabs to be able to ascertain. But even with that seemingly large spike, we're only talking about 5 points.
Yeah.
Then immediately, within a few days, he's back down to the cellar.
Yep.
I want to know what part of the country they have to go to get these half-baked numbers. Do they just go out to like San Francisco to the junkies net on the street and say, "Hey, we'll give you $5 if you answer a couple questions for us"? Or where do they get these folks?
I don't know. Rasmussen is pretty decent. He has his company, I should say, has a pretty decent track record. He was the only one that I think was the one that predicted, or in LA, were the ones that the LA Times ones, the 2016 election. So I don't know. That's why I used Rasmussen, because I gave him a little more credibility. There are some questionable items when you have large increases or drops within a very short time span with nothing of significance, right? I mean, if there was something like, hey, you just had Biden order the assassination of XYZ type of thing, right? That's a different story. But here, I don't know. But and many of them, like the one that gets me is, where are they finding these Democrats that put Biden in the north of zero territory?
You ever see Mark Dice do his man on the street?
True.
No, seriously, Spectre, you took the words out of my mouth. You just don't know who you're going to get on the phone when you start calling these people. And I mean, I don't know. I wish you could get a poll of people who paid attention to a certain amount. You know what I mean? Like, I wish there was a way to better sort like who you actually spoke to in these polls, but nonetheless,
a current event knowledge base before you can answer.
Yeah, it's something, like, I don't know. I feel like it's always such a shit show, but it's not meant to be an exact science. It's not even, it's the point. It's not meant to be an exact science. It's hand grenade quality. It gives you a general idea.
But even with that, look at you, even with that, just looking at the Rasmussen, I mean, the trend is irrefutable.
Yeah.
Even if you question the people that they're polling, and let's say they manipulated, even if they are manipulating, the trend is the trend. And you're talking about, in less than a year, the dude's dropped 20 some odd points.
Yep.
Well, I think his ultimate decline really began after the whole Afghanistan flap, and that pretty much riled both sides of the aisle. Anybody who served.
It put that changed the perception of the administration. Like, that was like the thing that kind of turned the public against it. And then people started looking at it, not through the lens of, okay, well, at least it's not Trump, but through the lens of, all right, this guy's what's this guy actually doing? He had some, I feel like he had some, some grace period or some capital built just because he wasn't Trump, and there's a lot of Democrats or even probably a swath of independents that were just, sick of the polarization, sick of the mean tweets, and were just ready for a change and wanted something different than Trump. So, they were willing to pay a little bit more in gas, have the country represented by maybe a little less of an articulate individual, whatever it might be, some concessions to get rid of all that, not realizing how absolutely retarded Joe Biden is and how corrupt and incompetent his regime would be. So he gets in there, screws up Afghanistan, and all of a sudden it's, Trump's not even an issue anymore. It's what are you doing? And then after that, the currency starts getting inflated, and you go down the list. I mean, I don't feel like going down.
Shelves Biden is trending.
Yeah, I mean, he lost the goodwill, any goodwill or benefit of the doubt, any grace that he had by simply not being the orange man, was completely lost that day with the whole Afghanistan thing. That's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, the ABT crowd is not going, ooh, maybe not.
Yep.
But I guess one other thing I might point out about that, the Dems now that are trying to separate themselves from Bidenisms or whatever the heck you want to call these fails. You go back to Devolution Part 15, Patel Patriot lists out a boatload of stuff, and they all own it, not just Biden. So at the end of the day, it would behoove anybody running against the Dems to grab a hold of that list and throw it right back in their face against who they're running against, because at the end of the day, they all are in that boat, all the Dems. They've got all the levers of power, and they're still not getting it done. Even if they try to separate themselves from Biden at this point, they still own it.
I agree. I completely agree. All right. Well, we're at the halfway point of the show right now, so I feel like this is a good time to say farewell to our good friend Susan and the YouTube platform. I got a few things towards the end of the show here that I don't want them to hear. I don't want the communist Marxist losers that run that useless platform, YouTube, to hear. So if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and pick one of the platforms below. If you're watching with us live right now, I highly recommend pill.net or DLive. Those are our most active live chats. If you're watching on replay, Rumble is going to be the closest thing that you're used to YouTube. Cloud Hub is also another Patriot run platform that's good for live or replays. But any one of those, I put them all up there because they're all solid. So go check those out. Follow us on all of them. Make sure you guys keep in touch. But it is time to say goodbye to Susan over there on YouTube. So we bid you all farewell. Have a great rest of your Friday. If you're not going to join us elsewhere,
come on over.
Yeah, for those of you who are going to continue watching with us, we'll see you over on one of the other platforms.
It's not that hard. I know it's tough to put away the little